Steve Ferguson here with the Love, Courage, and Achievement Project. We just call it the LCA. And want to talk a little bit about dealing with difficult people. You know, we all have that person that shows up from time to time that just reactivates us like crazy. And obviously, at first glance, the problem is them. They're the one with a bad case of obnoxious. But let's just look a little bit deeper. What if that person's actually being brought to you as a lesson to evolve you up the wisdom curve? Consider the possibility that any time we're upset, where that upset lives is inside of us. And it wouldn't live there if there wasn't something in us getting upset. Difficult people trigger that like crazy. So anytime there's an upset, one of the things that we share in the LCA is to imagine a giant Texas watermelon. So here's this Texas watermelon. What we're going to do is we're going to pull out a samurai sword. We're going to cut it right in half on the count of three. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, we've got two halves of this watermelon. One half is the circumstances, the person, the obnoxious being. The other is what's going on inside of us. So what we want to do is take all the attention off the person, put them on the shelf. We'll come back. And right now we want to focus on what is it that's going on inside of us. 100% of our attention goes there. Now, I want to share a little bit about core issues because it's so relevant here. A core issue is a deep, fundamental, harsh, mean judgment against self that we made at a time of a hurt growing up. It sounds like I'm no good, I'm stupid, I'm worthless, I don't matter, I don't have what it takes, there's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I'm a disappointment. It's something along that line. Of course, all of those are total hogwash, and we know that up here, but that's not enough to make the core issues go away, is it? Where you've got to go is out of the mind and into the heart, because that's where the core issues live. So when somebody reactivates you, put the focus on that half of the watermelon called what's going on inside of you. And here we go. Find the core issue. To find the core issue, you've got to find the word or words that have the greatest hurt connected with it. You don't figure out your core issue. You've got to go into your heart because that's where they were formed. So literally start looking for the word or words that would have the most hurt connected to it if it was true. If your best friend said this or thought this about you, what are the words that would hurt the most? And go for a hunt. Normally we spend our whole life trying to get away from this. Now we're doing a 180-degree shift and we're going after the hurt that's been running us. So once you find it, and by the way, you'll know it's your core issue because when you get close to it, you won't like it one bit. What are those words? Once you find it, let's say it's something along the line that you're not worth loving. And notice all the emotion that's right there with it, or that you just don't matter. Now, the opportunity is to heal that. How do you heal the core issue? Well, notice that your whole life has been about trying to prove that it's not true. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do something completely different. See, the more you fight and resist your core issue, the bigger it becomes. So if fighting it and resisting it is what creates all the damage, what's going to create the healing? That's right, the embracing it. Now, in the back of your mind, you know that no core issue is true. They're all total hogwash. But when you can start to embrace it and literally start to feel the hurt that you've been carrying around, but instead of running from it now, you're going to feel it like a child feels it. You're going to let it come and go, just like children do. You're going to cry if you can. You're going after it. Now, this is courage. And you let that hurt come and you let that hurt go. You release it out of your body. Cry if you can. And then at the end of that is this wonderful peace. And in that place, 80% of that core issue is done. And then the last 20% has to do with loving yourself with the core issue. Give up trying to get rid of it. You'll never, ever, ever get enough evidence out there to prove that your core issue doesn't live in here. You can't do it. It's not missing on the outside. Where is it missing? So once you find your core issue, once you grieve it, then the next step is to love you with the core issue. You give up the resistance. Now, again, in the back of your mind, you know no core issue is true, but in your heart, you love you unconditionally. And that's what love is, isn't it? It's unconditional. See, if you had a club foot, if you had a child with a club foot, how much less would you love that child? Not one bit, right? If anything more. Well, your core issue is your club foot. It's part of your humanness. Can you love you with your core issue? And when you do that from your heart, it starts to lose all its power. In fact, you can get to a place where you can laugh at it. You know, you go down the freeway, you miss your exit 3 exits back because you're rocking out to your favorite song, and then all of a sudden you realize what happened. You go, well, no wonder, I'm stupid. Woohoo! And it's like, it's funny, it's not true, but when you can embrace it, when you can laugh at it, it loses all its power. Once you've healed that inside yourself, now you pull the other piece of the watermelon in, which is dealing with that difficult person, and you set your boundary. You say what it is that you need to say, but you do it now instead of like with all this anger and hurt, you do it from a place of peace. You do it in a way that actually builds the person instead of tears it down. You do it strongly, but you do it with great love. So there came a time when I had to set a boundary with my dad. And I'll never forget. He was just poking at me. He was doing these verbal jabs, and I just had enough, and I knew I had to confront him, but he was my dad. And finally, there came a point where he did one too many, and I went after him, and I said, Dad, we got to talk. When you do those verbal jabs, it hurts. Stop it. I don't want to hear that out of your mouth again. It hurts. And the reason I want you to stop it, Dad, is because you are my dad. You matter to me. This relationship matters to me. Dad, stop it. And my dad, who I didn't think had a feeling bone in his body, he walked up to me. He had tears in his eyes. He threw his arms around me and he said, Randy, I'm so sorry. I just didn't know. And that shook me up because I thought my dad knew everything. He was brilliant. But he didn't even know he was doing it. And to his immense credit, he stopped it. In the last years of his life, he worked to improve his communication skills. So set your boundary, but do it from a place of love and watch what comes back. I'm going to be leading a seminar this Tuesday evening, June 14th. There's a flyer below that has information on it. We'd love to have you come. And also, just know that you can go to lcaproject.com, and there's all kinds of tools and insights there to support you in having a more effective, more joyful life. And if you really are ready for a breakthrough, give us a call and schedule your 90-minute breakthrough session. We don't charge for it, but it's 90 minutes with you and one of our awesome LCA consultants. You will see solutions that you've never seen before. And when you do, you get back something so beautiful called hope. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I love you. God bless you, and take care. Bye-bye.